Hey everyone, welcome to this deep dive.
Yeah.
Today we're going to be exploring gratitude and how it can totally transform your mindset. We've got some super interesting research and insights that we want to share with you, and
Mm.
it might make you rethink how you approach your daily life.
For sure.
And get this, did you know that gratitude can boost your brain's happy chemicals?
It's pretty amazing
It
stuff.
really is. Let's dive right in.
Okay, so
So we often think of gratitude as just saying thank you,
yeah,
but
totally.
it's way deeper than that, right?
It really is.
Could you explain to us what gratitude actually is beyond just saying those two words?
Well, it's about recognizing and appreciating the good things in your life.
Yeah.
And that can be big things or even small
It's
things.
you're actively choosing to focus on the positive even when things might be, kind of tough.
Exactly.
I'm curious, from all the research that you've done, what stands out to you as the most fascinating aspect of gratitude?
Well, I think what's so fascinating is that gratitude isn't just a fleeting feeling.
Yeah.
It can actually rewire your brain.
Whoa,
You
really?
know, when you practice gratitude, you're activating the reward system in your brain,
Wow.
especially the prefrontal cortex.
So it's not just about feeling happier, but actually training your brain to be more positive.
You got it. And that triggers the release of these amazing neurotransmitters called dopamine and serotonin.
Okay, now for those of us who don't have a PhD in neuroscience,
Right.
could you break it down for us? What do dopamine and serotonin actually do?
Well, you can think of them as your brain's feel-good chemicals.
Okay.
Dopamine is all about motivation and reward,
Uh-huh.
whereas serotonin contributes to feelings of well-being and happiness.
So by practicing gratitude, we're basically giving ourselves a natural boost of these happiness hormones.
Exactly.
That's awesome. And I know from the research that we looked at that gratitude also has an impact on stress levels too.
For sure. Gratitude's been shown to lower your levels of cortisol, which is that pesky stress hormone.
Oh, right.
So not only are you boosting the positive, but you're also like actively reducing the negative.
So it's almost like a superpower
Yeah.
when it comes to our mental well-being.
Yeah, I like that. A superpower.
It's not just making us feel good in the moment, but it's actually changing how our minds work over time.
Absolutely. It helps us to counter that negativity bias that our brains are naturally wired for.
Oh, what's that?
Well, that tendency to focus on the problems of the what ifs.
Yeah, I get that.
Gratitude helps us shift our attention to what's going right.
Okay.
So we appreciate the good instead of dwelling on the negative.
So instead of being hung up on a bad commute,
Right.
maybe you're grateful for a good audiobook that you're listening to, or just the fact that you can even get to work.
Exactly. Yeah.
I love that.
And, by focusing on the positive, gratitude can really reduce those feelings of envy and comparison.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It reminds us of our own blessings, leading to more contentment and inner peace.
Speaking of inner peace, I imagine this positive outlook can also build resilience, When things inevitably go wrong, gratitude could give you the strength to keep going.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
When you practice gratitude, you're better equipped to navigate those bumps in the road.
Right.
You're not denying the hardship, but you're choosing to focus on the positives,
Right.
even in those difficult situations.
That reminds me of that study we were looking at where participants with depression were asked to keep a gratitude journal for just 2 weeks.
Yes, the results were incredible.
What happened?
Not only did their moods improve, but they also felt a greater sense of purpose in life.
Really?
Yeah, and a more optimistic outlook on the future.
That's amazing. It shows that even when you're facing real challenges, gratitude can make a tangible difference.
For sure.
But how do you actually make it a habit? How do you weave it into your daily life?
Well, there are so many ways to do that. It really depends on, what works best for you.
Yeah.
But one of the most popular and effective methods is gratitude journaling.
I've heard a lot about that. What's the best way to approach gratitude journaling?
Basically, you take a few minutes each day to write down 3 to 5 things that you're grateful for.
Okay.
And these can be, big things or small things. The key is to really focus on the experience and allow yourself to feel that gratitude deeply.
It sounds simple enough,
Uh,
but I can see how consistently focusing on those positive moments could really shift your perspective over time.
yeah, absolutely.
What are some other simple things that people can do to cultivate gratitude?
Well, another powerful technique is writing a gratitude letter.
Okay.
This involves expressing your appreciation to someone who's had a positive impact on your life.
Right.
And you don't even have to send it for it to be effective.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Just the act of writing it can be really powerful.
So it's not always about, like, the grand gestures, but, like, those small, consistent actions that, like, build up over time.
Yeah, exactly. And don't underestimate the power of expressing gratitude verbally. Whether it's saying thank you to a cashier
Mm.
or acknowledging a colleague's hard work.
Yeah.
These small acts of appreciation can really brighten someone's day
Yeah.
and strengthen your connection with them.
It's like a ripple effect of positivity, like, both for you and for the people around you.
Exactly.
But what about those times when it's, like, really tough to find things to be grateful for? Life isn't always sunshine and roses.
You're absolutely right.
How can you practice gratitude when when you're going through a rough patch?
Gratitude can be really challenging during those difficult times,
Yeah.
but it's also when it can be the most transformative.
Okay.
It's not about denying the hardship,
Mm.
but rather about finding those glimmers of hope and appreciation.
So it's not about pretending that everything's okay, but like rather acknowledging the difficulty, but also trying to find those silver linings.
Exactly.
For example, during a really tough time, you might be grateful for the support of a loved one
Yeah.
or the lessons that you're learning,
Right.
or even your own resilience
That's okay.
in the face of that adversity.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's like gratitude becomes like this lifeline that helps you navigate through like the darkness and find those moments of light.
I love that.
But how do you actually do that? How do you find those silver linings when it feels like everything is going wrong?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
It is.
It's not always easy.
No.
That's for sure.
Yeah.
But one thing that can really help is to shift your focus from what you lack to what you still have.
Okay.
Even amidst the hardship, there are usually things we can be grateful for.
Like what?
Well, maybe it's a roof over your head, a warm meal, or the support of a loved one.
Those are things that are so easy to take for granted when you're focused on what's going wrong.
Absolutely. And sometimes the silver linings are even more subtle.
Right.
Perhaps it's a lesson that you're learning through the challenge,
Mm-hmm.
or a new strength you're discovering within yourself,
Right.
or simply the fact that you're still here.
Wow.
You're still fighting.
Yeah.
You know?
It's about recognizing that even in like the darkest of times, there are still like glimmers of light
Yeah.
if we choose to see them.
Exactly. And that choice, that active decision to look for those glimmers of gratitude, that can be so empowering.
Powerful.
It reminds us that we're not powerless in the face of adversity.
It's like taking back control of your own perspective,
Yes,
even when you can't control the situation itself.
exactly. And that shift in perspective, it can make all the difference in how you experience that challenge.
Right.
Instead of feeling overwhelmed and defeated, you can tap into a sense of strength and resilience.
That makes me think about the research that we were talking about earlier. Do you remember that study where participants with depression were asked to keep gratitude journals?
Yes.
And they experienced such amazing improvements in their mood and outlook,
It's amazing.
even though their circumstances hadn't necessarily changed.
The ch-
Almost like gratitude is a form of like mental alchemy,
Yeah.
transforming our inner state even when the external world feels really chaotic.
And that transformation can have a ripple effect.
What do you mean?
Well, when we cultivate gratitude within ourselves, it often spills over into our interactions with others.
So gratitude isn't just an internal process. It can actually influence how we relate to the world around us.
Absolutely. When you're feeling grateful, you're more likely to be kind, compassionate, and understanding towards others.
It's like you're more likely to see the good in people even when they're not showing their best side.
Precisely.
Yeah.
Gratitude helps us cultivate empathy and patience,
Okay.
which are essential for healthy relationships.
So by practicing gratitude, we're not only benefiting ourselves, but also creating a more positive and harmonious social environment.
That's the beauty of it.
I love that.
Gratitude is a gift that keeps on giving.
Yeah.
It uplifts us individually and radiates outwards,
Mhm.
touching the lives of those around us.
It's funny how we often associate gratitude with like these grand gestures or these major life events, but it's actually the small everyday moments of appreciation that can make a big difference.
Absolutely. It's
Yeah.
about appreciating the simple things like a warm cup of tea, a
Yeah.
heartfelt conversation with a friend, a moment of laughter with your loved ones.
It's about savoring those little sparks of joy
Exactly.
that we often just take for granted.
And when we start to notice and appreciate those moments,
Yeah.
it's amazing how much richer and more fulfilling life becomes. comes.
It's like gratitude is a magnifying glass,
Yeah.
helping us see the beauty and abundance that already exists in our
I
lives.
love that analogy.
It's not about creating something new, but appreciating what's already there.
Exactly.
Now, we've talked a lot about the mental and emotional benefits of gratitude, but does it have any impact on our physical health as well?
You know, there's growing evidence to suggest that gratitude can indeed have a positive impact on our physical well-being.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm curious to hear more about that.
Okay.
What kind of connection is there between gratitude and physical health?
Well, for starters, we know that stress can really take a toll on our physical health,
Yeah, totally.
leading to all sorts of problems,
Yeah,
high blood pressure, weakened immunity, and sleep disturbances.
right. It makes sense.
When we're constantly stressed, our bodies are in that fight or flight mode,
Yeah,
which can't be sustainable in the long run.
of course not.
And research has shown that people who practice gratitude tend to have lower levels of cortisol,
Oh, wow.
that stress hormone we talked about earlier.
So by reducing stress, gratitude can indirectly improve our physical health.
Precisely. But there may also be some more direct links. Some studies suggest that gratitude can actually motivate us to take better care of ourselves.
Oh, that's interesting. How so?
Well, people who are grateful tend to be more proactive about their health.
Okay.
They're more likely to exercise regularly,
Yeah.
eat a healthy diet, and get enough sleep.
It's almost like gratitude fuels this desire to nourish and care for yourself, both mentally and physically.
Exactly. It's about recognizing that our bodies are gifts, and we want to treat them with respect and kindness.
You know, what's really fascinating to me is that gratitude isn't just about feeling good. It's about taking action.
Yeah,
It's about making choices that align with our values and support our well-being.
I couldn't agree more. It's about moving from, a passive state of simply receiving to an active state of appreciation
Right.
and engagement with life.
It's about recognizing that we have the power to shape our own experience, even in the face of challenges.
Yeah.
And gratitude can be like a powerful catalyst for that transformation.
Speaking of transformation, one of the things I find most inspiring about gratitude is that it's never too late to start cultivating it.
That's such an important point. And no matter where you are on your journey, you can always choose to embrace gratitude and experience its power.
Exactly.
And you don't have to wait for a major life event or a moment of crisis
No.
to start practicing it.
It's something you can weave into your daily routine starting right now.
Okay, so let's talk about that. What are some practical ways that we can make gratitude a more consistent part of our lives? What are some simple things we can do each day to cultivate this sense of appreciation?
I love that idea of weaving gratitude into our daily routine.
Yeah.
It makes it feel less like a chore and more like a natural part of life.
Exactly.
And there's so many easy and enjoyable ways to do that.
Like what?
Well, we've already talked about gratitude journaling and gratitude letters.
Yeah.
These are both fantastic practices. For someone just starting out, I would say the easiest way to dip their toes in the world of gratitude is gratitude journaling.
Okay.
It's simple, accessible, and it only takes a few minutes each day.
All right, so just grab a notebook and jot down 3 to 5 things you're grateful for.
Exactly.
Do you have any tips for making those entries more, impactful?
I always encourage people to go beyond simply listing things.
Okay.
Try to really savor the experience.
Okay.
Describe the details, the emotions, the sensations that make you feel grateful.
That makes sense.
Move beyond the surface level and really connect with that feeling of appreciation.
I love that.
Exactly. And don't be afraid to get creative. You can use prompts,
Okay.
write poetry, draw pictures, whatever helps you tap into that sense of gratitude.
I love that flexibility.
Yeah.
It takes the pressure off and makes it feel more personal.
Right.
Speaking of personal, what about those gratitude letters?
Yeah.
I'm really intrigued by the idea that you don't have to send them for them to be effective.
I know. It might seem counterintuitive,
Yeah.
but the act of writing the letter itself can be incredibly transformative.
Okay.
It forces you to slow down, reflect on the positive influence that someone has had on your life,
Right.
and articulate your appreciation in a tangible way.
So it's not just about expressing gratitude, it's about actively cultivating it within yourself.
Precisely.
Wow.
And sometimes, the people we're most grateful for are no longer in our lives.
Yeah, that's true.
Writing a letter can be a beautiful way to honor their memory and acknowledge the impact that they had on us.
It's like keeping those positive connections alive,
Yeah,
even in their absence.
absolutely.
And beyond journaling and letters, what are some other things?
Well, one of my favorite practices is mindful gratitude.
We mentioned that
Yeah.
earlier, but I'd love for you to elaborate a little bit on what that looks like in practice.
Sure. So mindful gratitude is all about bringing awareness and appreciation to the present moment.
Okay.
It's about pausing throughout the day to notice and savor the good things that are happening.
Right, so instead of rushing through your day on autopilot, you're
Yes.
intentionally taking moments to appreciate the little things.
Exactly. It could be as simple as taking a moment to appreciate the warmth of the sun on your skin, the
Yeah.
sound of birds singing, or the taste of your morning coffee.
I can see how that could really shift your perspective, even if you only do it for a few minutes each day.
And the more you practice, the more natural it becomes.
Oh, cool.
You start to notice more and more things to be grateful for.
Wow.
It's like you're training your brain to see the world through the more appreciative lens.
That sounds like such a wonderful way to cultivate a more positive and joyful outlook on life.
Absolutely.
Are there any other simple tips for making gratitude a more consistent habit?
Well, one thing I find helpful is to create visual reminders of gratitude.
Okay.
You could have a gratitude jar where you add a note of appreciation each day.
Oh, I love that idea.
Or create a gratitude board
Uh-huh.
where you pin photos, quotes, or anything that inspires those feelings of thankfulness.
It's like surrounding yourself with these little sparks of gratitude throughout the day.
Exactly. And finally, don't underestimate the power of, verbally expressing your gratitude to others.
It's such a simple act,
It is.
yet it can have a huge impact on both the giver and the receiver.
It's true.
I agree.
Those small acts of saying thank you or acknowledging someone's effort,
Yeah.
it can really brighten someone's day and strengthen your connection with them.
It's like this ripple effect of kindness and appreciation,
Exactly.
spreading outward from those small gestures.
And it all starts with that conscious decision to cultivate gratitude within ourselves.
Well, this has been such an eye-opening deep dive into the world of gratitude.
Yeah, it has.
I feel like I have a whole new perspective on this, simple yet powerful practice.
Me too. It's been a joy exploring this topic with you.
Absolutely. And thank you to everyone for joining us on this journey of gratitude. Yeah.
We hope you've gained some valuable insights and are inspired to, cultivate more appreciation in your own life.
And as we wrap up this deep dive,
Yes.
we'd like to leave you with one final thought.
Okay.
How might shifting to a more grateful perspective change how you approach your current challenges?
Ooh.
We encourage you to explore that question and discover the transformative power of gratitude for yourself.
That's a great question to think about. So stay tuned for part 2 of this deep dive, where we're going to be discussing topic of part 2 of the deep dive.
Can't wait. It's going to be good.
It is. Thanks for listening, everyone.
See ya. It really is the million-dollar question.
It is.
And it's not always easy to answer.
I can imagine.
But one thing that can help is to, shift your focus from what you lack to what you still have.
Oh.
Even in the midst of hardship, there are usually things that we can be grateful for.
Like what kind of things?
Well, maybe it's a roof over your head or a warm meal.
Right.
Or the support of a loved one. Yeah, it's so easy to take those things for granted when you're so focused on what's going wrong.
Totally. And sometimes those silver linings are even more subtle.
Yeah, like what?
Well, maybe it's a lesson that you're learning through the challenge, or a new strength that you're discovering within yourself,
Oh, I see.
or just like the fact that you're still here.
Right.
You're still fighting.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So it's about recognizing that even in those really dark times, there are still glimmers of light
Yeah.
if we choose to see them.
We just have to look for them.
Exactly. And that choice,
Yeah.
that active decision to look for those glimmers of gratitude,
Right.
that can be so empowering.
Yeah, it's like taking back control
Yeah.
of your perspective.
Yeah,
Even when you can't control what's actually happening.
exactly. And that shift in perspective,
Mm-hmm.
it can really change how you experience that challenge.
Okay.
So instead of feeling overwhelmed and defeated,
Uh-huh.
you can tap into a sense of strength and resilience.
I like that.
And that reminds me of the research we were talking about earlier.
Yeah, the study with the participants with depression,
Yes.
keeping a gratitude journal.
They experience amazing improvements in their mood and outlook,
I know, it's amazing.
even though their situations hadn't actually changed.
So it's almost like gratitude is a form of mental alchemy,
Yeah.
transforming our inner state, even
Yeah.
when the external world feels out of control.
And that transformation, that can have a ripple effect.
Oh, what do you mean?
Well, when we cultivate gratitude within ourselves,
Yeah.
it often spills over into our interactions with others.
So gratitude isn't just an internal thing.
No,
It can actually influence how we relate to the people around us.
absolutely. When you're feeling grateful,
Yeah.
you're more likely to be kind and compassionate and understanding towards other people.
It's like you're more likely to see the good in people even when they're not at their best,
Exactly. Gratitude can help us cultivate empathy and patience.
which are super important
Yeah,
for healthy relationships.
they are essential.
So by practicing gratitude, we're not only benefiting ourselves, but we're also creating a more positive and harmonious social environment.
That's the beauty of it.
I love that.
Gratitude is a gift that keeps on giving.
It really
It
is.
uplifts us individually and it radiates outwards,
Yeah.
touching the lives of the people around us.
It's funny how we often associate gratitude with these like grand gestures or these major life events.
Right.
But what you're saying is that it's often those small everyday moments of appreciation
Yeah.
that make the real difference.
Exactly.
So instead of like waiting for something big to happen,
Right.
we can find gratitude in the little things.
Exactly. It's about appreciating the simple things, like a warm cup of tea on a chilly morning.
Right. Or a good conversation.
Yeah, a heartfelt conversation with a friend or,
Or a funny moment.
a moment of laughter with your loved ones.
It's about like savoring those little sparks of joy
Yeah.
that we often just take for granted.
And when we start to notice and appreciate those moments,
Yeah.
it's amazing how much richer and more fulfilling life becomes.
I love that.
Right. It's like gratitude is a magnifying glass,
Yeah.
helping us see the beauty and abundance that's already there in our lives.
I love that analogy. It's not about creating something new, but appreciating what we already have.
Exactly.
We've talked a lot about the mental and emotional benefits,
Yeah.
but does gratitude have any impact on our physical health?
Well, there's growing evidence that suggests that it can.
Really? That's so interesting.
Yeah.
What's the connection between gratitude and physical health?
Well, for starters, we know that stress can have a huge impact on our physical health,
Of course.
leading to all sorts of problems like high blood pressure,
Yeah.
weakened immunity, sleep disturbances.
Right.
When we're constantly stressed, our bodies are in that fight or flight mode,
Right.
which just isn't sustainable over the long term.
No, definitely not.
And research has actually shown that people who practice gratitude tend to have lower levels of cortisol. That stress hormone that we've been talking about.
So by reducing our stress levels,
Yeah,
gratitude can like indirectly improve our physical health.
precisely.
Yeah.
But there might also be some more direct links.
Oh, what do you mean?
Well, some studies suggest that gratitude can actually motivate us to take better care of ourselves.
Oh, interesting. How so?
Well, people who are grateful tend to be more proactive about their health.
Okay.
So they're more likely to exercise regularly,
Yeah.
eat a healthy diet,
Right.
and get enough sleep.
That makes sense. It's like gratitude fuels this desire to take care of yourself,
Exactly.
both mentally and physically.
It's about recognizing that our bodies are gifts, and we want to treat them with respect and kindness.
You know, what I find really fascinating about gratitude is that it's not just about like feeling good. It's about taking action.
I agree.
It's about like making choices that align with our values and support our well-being.
I couldn't agree more. It's about moving from this passive state of simply receiving to an active state of appreciation
Oh.
and engagement with life.
It's about recognizing that we have the power to shape our experience
Yeah?
even when we're facing challenges.
Absolutely.
And gratitude can be a catalyst for that transformation.
Speaking of transformation,
Yeah.
one of the most inspiring things about gratitude is that it's never too late to start cultivating it.
That's such an important message. Like, no matter where you are on your journey, you can always choose to embrace gratitude and experience its power.
Exactly. You don't have to wait for a major life event or a moment of crisis.
Right. You can start right now.
It's something you can weave into your daily routine starting today.
Let's talk about that. What are some practical ways that we can make gratitude a more consistent part of our lives? What are some simple things that we can do each day to cultivate this sense of appreciation?
Yeah, it's about making it a natural part of your life.
Yeah, exactly.
And there's so many easy and enjoyable ways to do that.
Yeah, like what are some of your favorite ways?
Well, we've already talked about gratitude journaling and gratitude letters, which are both fantastic practices.
They are.
For someone just starting out, though,
Yeah.
I think the easiest way to kind of dip their toes in the world of gratitude is gratitude journaling.
Okay.
It's simple. It's accessible. It
Yeah.
only takes a few minutes each day.
All right, so just grab a notebook and write down like 3 to 5 things that you're grateful for.
Exactly.
Okay, cool.
And, don't be afraid to get creative. You can use prompts, write poetry, draw pictures,
Yeah.
whatever helps you to really tap into that sense of gratitude.
I love that flexibility.
Hmm.
It takes the pressure off and makes it feel more personal.
Right.
Speaking of personal, what about those gratitude letters?
Yeah.
I love that idea that you don't have to send them for them to be effective.
I know it seems kind of counterintuitive,
It does. Yeah.
but the act of writing the letter itself
Mm,
can be so powerful.
okay.
It forces you to really slow down, reflect on the positive influence someone's had in your life,
Right.
and articulate your appreciation in this like tangible way.
So it's not just about expressing gratitude, it's about cultivating it within yourself.
Exactly. And sometimes, the people we're most grateful for are no longer in our lives.
That's true.
Writing a letter can be a really beautiful way to honor their memory and acknowledge the impact that they had.
Yeah, it's like keeping those positive connections alive,
Yeah,
even in their absence.
absolutely.
So beautiful.
And then beyond journaling and letters, another one of my favorite practices is mindful gratitude.
We talked about that a little bit earlier,
Yeah.
but I'd love to hear a little bit more about like how you actually do that in practice.
Sure. So mindful gratitude is all about bringing awareness and appreciation to the present moment.
Okay.
It's about pausing throughout your day to notice and savor the good things that are happening,
Right?
even those smaller, ordinary things.
Yeah.
So instead of just rushing through your day on autopilot,
Yeah.
you're intentionally taking moments to appreciate the little things.
Like what kind of little
Well, it could be as simple as taking a moment to appreciate the warmth of the sun on your skin,
Oh, yeah.
or the sound of birds singing,
Okay.
or the taste of your morning coffee.
I love that. I could see how that could really shift your perspective, even if you only do it for a few minutes each day.
And the more you practice, the more natural it becomes.
Oh, cool.
You start to notice more and more things to be grateful for.
Right.
It's like you're training your brain to see the world through a more appreciative lens.
That's a beautiful way to put it.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like you're rewiring your brain for happiness.
I love that. Are there any other like simple tips or tricks that you can share for making gratitude a more consistent habit?
Well, one thing I find really helpful is creating visual reminders of gratitude.
Oh, okay.
You could have like a gratitude jar
Right.
where you add like a little note of appreciation each day.
Oh, I love that.
Or you create a gratitude board where you
Okay.
pin photos or quotes or anything that inspires you.
It's like surrounding yourself with little sparks of gratitude.
Exactly.
How about that?
And finally, don't underestimate the power of verbally expressing gratitude to others.
Such a simple thing,
It is.
but it can have a huge impact.
Huge impact on both the giver and the receiver.
Yeah, for sure.
Those little acts of saying thank you
Yeah.
or acknowledging someone's efforts,
Yeah.
they can really brighten someone's day and strengthen your connection.
Get that ripple effect of kindness
Exactly.
and appreciation.
Spreading outwards from those small gestures.
Yeah, I love that.
And it all starts with that conscious decision to cultivate gratitude within ourselves.
Well, this has been such an amazing deep dive into the world of gratitude.
It has been fun.
I feel like I have a whole new perspective on this practice.
Me too.
And thank you to everyone for joining us on this journey of gratitude.
Yes, thank you.
We hope you've gained some valuable insights and are inspired to cultivate more appreciation in your own lives.
Yeah, we'd love to hear from you.
Yeah, let us know what practices you're going to try.
And how gratitude has impacted your life.
Yeah. We'll see you in the next deep dive.
See ya.